Let's go now to the ITN studios and to Nicholas Owen.
Thank you, Trevor. Terrorists are being blamed for the security alerts which paralysed much of central London today. Police carried out a controlled explosion on a bomb discovered during the morning rush hour next to a railway line. After further alerts, another suspect package was destroyed in Whitehall. John Draper has the latest.
Police found the explosive device on a railway line at Ealing, West London, exactly at the spot where anonymous phone calls made in Dublin said a bomb had been planted. The device did not go off, though bomb squad officers carried out a controlled explosion as traffic was diverted and nearby homes evacuated.
A bag was found hidden alongside the railway line and following a controlled explosion by explosive officers from the Metropolitan Police, that has been made safe.
The Northern Ireland Secretary blamed Irish Republican dissidents.
The code word used in connection with this incident was the same as that used for the attack on the railway line at Newry and other incidents and hoaxes on the mainland.
The closure at Ealing Broadway had a knock-on effect on lines going into Paddington Station, which was completely shut in the middle of the travelling day. Victoria Station was temporarily closed. It too was mentioned in the coded warnings, as was Westminster Station, close to the scene of the Queen Mother's pageant. At one point, Whitehall was sealed off by police after a suspicious bag was found at Horse Guards, a few hundred yards from the pageant rehearsals. There was another controlled explosion. Police removed a cigarette lighter in the shape of a gun. The road was reopened. The police handling of this incident at Horse Guards reflects the fact that they're taking seriously every alert today, especially so close to the pageant for the Queen Mother. But the security alerts caused traffic jams across central London, adding to the problems caused by the station closures. Guests at the pageant were searched as they arrived. Despite it all, though, it has gone ahead unaffected. John Draper, ITN.
The devastated parents of Sarah Payne pleaded today for the public's help in catching their daughter's killer. Sarah and Michael Payne called the murder senseless. They said, "We've got a job, and that's to catch this person."
I believe in justice. And death is too good for this person. Help us find him.
Tony Blair brushed off criticism in the Commons this afternoon over the latest leak from Downing Street. The Conservative leader William Hague said the document from Mr Blair's chief pollster saying that Labour's image was badly contaminated was spot on. However, the Prime Minister ignored the criticism and attacked the Tories on their public spending record. The two sides in the Middle East Peace Summit are still talking this evening despite an apparent Israeli threat to pull out. President Clinton's advisers have brushed aside the Israeli reports and say the negotiations at Camp David remain on course. The president had earlier postponed a trip to Japan because of the deadlock. And the head of the Roman Catholic Church in England has been defending his role in a scandal involving a priest jailed for sexual attacks on children. The Archbishop of Westminster admits that he has already been warned about Michael Hill's behaviour when he made him chaplain at Gatwick Airport. Hill was arrested after assaulting a boy at the airport. And that is a very brief look at the news so far this evening. We will have more news, of course, tonight at 11. Now we'll be going back to Trevor McDonald at the Queen Mother's pageant. But first, we're going to have a look at the prospects for the weather.
Hello, good evening. We caught a couple of showers today. The emphasis over the next few days, however, is mainly on dry weather. Now, turning to our Met Office satellite picture, we see thicker cloud up over Scotland, this line of cloud producing some patchy rain in these parts overnight. Otherwise, clear skies and some mist and fog patches floating around by morning. Fairly comfortable temperatures, though, all in all. Now, we go into tomorrow morning on a fine note. Even places like Northern Ireland and Scotland, where there's a lot of cloud, it's a brightening up process here during the course of the morning. And then as the afternoon warms up, just like today, we see the odd sharp shower being sparked off. But really, it is only an outside chance. Temperatures are looking good. 25 is a high of 77 in Fahrenheit. Cooler on the coasts, though, with these sea breezes. That's all from me for the time being. Join me later if you can.
Powergen. Power, whatever the weather.
Happy and glorious. the official album of Her Majesty the Queen Mother's 100th birthday celebrations. Over 35 of the nation's favourite melodies, celebrating a century of royal service. Happy and Glorious, the official album of Her Majesty the Queen Mother's 100th birthday celebrations. Out now.
Lecky windows, listeners, cup holders. Thank you, we've heard quite enough. That's better. Buy a car from jamjar.com and with their special deals, you could save thousands on the manufacturer's list prices and deliver to your door. What about my old car? Jamjar.com give you an agreed trade-in price online and they take it away. You seem to know a lot about this jamjar.com. Just because I'm a model doesn't mean I haven't got brains.
Welcome back to ITV's coverage of the Queen Mother's pageant. We're live from Horse Guards Parade here in London, where not very long ago the Queen Mother left for a reception at St James's Palace. But for more than an hour today, she was honoured by a thoroughly public tribute. There were representatives from her military regiments and from her numerous charities. And at the end of it all, this is what the Queen Mother had to say.
It's been a great joy to me. And the marchers, the children, my regiments, especially the music and the excellent musicians, have been a wonderful joy to hear. I do hope you've all enjoyed it as much as I have. It's been a wonderful evening, and I'll just say, God bless you all, and thank you.
The Queen Mother speaking at the end of her birthday pageant. Now I'll be returning later with a full summary of today's events here at Horse Guards. But first, the news and weather in...
Thank you, Trevor. Now here's the latest news from Meridian. The parents of murdered schoolgirl Sarah Payne today made an impassioned plea for help in catching her killer. They were speaking publicly for the first time since Sarah's body was discovered in undergrowth near Pulborough on Monday. They said they'd do anything to stop another family being made to suffer as they had.
Still struggling to come to terms with their tragic loss, the family of Sarah Payne visit the spot where her body was discovered. Mother and father, their sorrow almost too much to bear. Little sister Charlotte, who can't understand why Sarah has gone. Brother Lee, the last to see Sarah alive. 3 generations mourn the death of a child. Earlier, they spoke in public for the first time since Sarah's body was identified.
Thank God we found her now. Thank God. The family's
devastated. Still can't believe it.
It hasn't really sunk in yet. But we've got a job now.
And that's to catch this person.
As long as the search continued, the family clung to the belief that Sarah would be found alive, but her killer knew otherwise.
They must never, ever be allowed to put another family through this. They've watched us for the last 2 weeks.
They've watched us suffer. They've watched our family go through something they should not go through.
They've torn our children apart, and they could have done something about it by picking up the phone.
As feelings of outrage over Sarah's murder grow, detectives have warned against vigilante-style attacks. Last night in Crawley, youths hurled stones and abuse at a house where a man on police bail had previously been staying.
That is unlawful, and it will not be condoned by us. But I'd rather not have to deploy resources up there when they should be down here looking for whoever killed Sarah.
Yet another witness has described seeing a white van in Kingston Lane, but 2 hours before Sarah vanished, suggesting her abductor may have lain in wait.
It is, of course, possible or indeed probable that that same vehicle was in the area of the A29 at where Sarah was found.
Police believe Sarah's body was buried in a shallow grave on the first weekend of July, shortly after she disappeared.
We can't even see our daughter because it's too hard. And it's not Sarah. And I don't believe that anyone should be allowed to do that to anybody. I believe in justice. And death is too good for this person. Help us find him. Her, them, whoever you are.
Flowers and children's toys have transformed the roadside into a shrine, symbols of public sympathy and horror at the senseless murder of an 8-year-old child. Sarah's family adding their own personal tributes to their little girl. Malcolm Shaw at Pulborough for Meridian Tonight.
Children playing with high-voltage power lines were lucky to escape with their lives, according to electricity officials. The youngsters rigged up a swing across 33,000-volt cables at Sway in the New Forest. Safety chiefs say they were playing with death.
Electricity engineers inspecting the scene of what was so nearly a game of death. A group of youngsters risked their lives by using these high-voltage power cables to support a rope swing across a stream in the New Forest. A photograph taken by an engineer shows how the rope straddled all 3 cables with a piece of wood tied at the bottom.
We were totally astounded that people could be so stupid in putting ropes over this overhead line. It's taking 33,000 volts, and if it had been damp or the rope had been wet, they probably wouldn't be here today.
Have you ever heard of anybody doing anything like this, throwing ropes over electricity lines?
Not at all. As I say, this is the most dangerous occurrence we've ever had.
By the time the engineers arrived, the young builders of the death swing had run off. Although the rope's been taken down, electricity staff say people enjoying innocent games also need to be careful.
Southern Electric are extremely worried about the fact that it's school holidays now, and people going along can be flying a kite or fishing. And if they don't look up above them to see if there are any overhead lines around them, they could again be electrocuted. So we stress that people should be aware of their surroundings.
So far, all attempts to track down the youngsters who diced with death here have failed, so they appear to have got away with their lives and escaped the long arm of the law. Nigel Burwood at Sway in the New Forest for Meridian Tonight.
Commuters travelling from Victoria to Sussex faced delays this evening following a bomb scare in central London. Victoria Station was closed as a precautionary measure. It reopened 2 hours ago, but services are still being disrupted. Terrorists trying to ruin the Queen Mother's pageant are being blamed. Hampshire police are hunting a man who stole a pensioner's savings from her disabled buggy while she was on her way to church. Police believe the man had followed the 85-year-old from the post office at Safeways in Ringwood to the nearby churchyard. The elderly woman suffers from arthritis.
I was on my way, and halfway up the path, by the first of the yew trees on the right-hand side, and suddenly somebody rushed past me, and all I could see was the back of his head. And then I realised that my bag had gone.
Several £100 was stolen along with her handbag. On to sport now. Football, and Mark Draper trained for the first time today as an official Southampton player. The midfielder signed a 4-year contract with Saints last night. Today, the 29-year-old says he's glad to be playing for Glenn Hoddle, who saw his potential when he was England manager.
When I was playing at Villa the first couple of years, Glenn brought me into the England squad 2 or 3 times, and you know, it was a great time for me, so I'm glad to join him back up with him.
The cricket headlines have been made by 2 Sussex batsmen. Richard Montgomery and Michael Bevan have recorded the highest Sussex batting partnership for a decade. They put on 292 in the Championship against Nottinghamshire. At Portsmouth, Jason Laney scored 81 as Hampshire were bowled out by Kent for 320. Surrey's Martin Bicknell is the bowling success with 6 wickets against Leicestershire. Now, as we've seen, today is a very special day for the Queen Mother, just a fortnight away from her 100th birthday. Many people here in the south have special memories of her, and some have been lucky enough to capture them on film. Our reporter Richard Jones takes up the story.
For decades, Arthur Cox photographed the stars of stage and screen, but his most prized picture is one of the Queen Mother arriving at a theatre in the West End in 1950.
I quickly took a picture of her, and all of a sudden the flashbulb, bang, went. I thought, oh my God, I've not got my picture.
Arthur thought he'd lost his opportunity, but it soon became clear that the Queen Mother was going to give him a second chance.
I quickly changed the flashbulb, went up to my eye, bowed in front of her and took the picture again. flashbulb went perfect. I said, thank you, Your Majesty. And as I bowed to her to come back, she smiled at me and said, that's all right. And walked past me still smiling. And I thought, there's a lovely picture to keep in my memory.
This footage of the Queen Mother at Exbury Gardens in the New Forest was also a result of being in the right place at the right time. Robert Howard happened to be there when he spotted the Queen Mother on a private visit.
I followed her, and before you knew where you were, all the crowds had gathered, and I got very close to her at one stage. It was probably about 2 or 3 feet away from her, which was quite a privilege, really.
Pride of place among her family photographs at home in Hayling Island is a picture of Jean MacDonald, at the age of 4 or 5, presenting a charity purse to the then Duchess of York. It was only by chance that the event was recorded for posterity.
My father and my uncle took them and they forgot to take a camera. And we thought we'd lost all the photographs, but the paper, the bulletin paper in Glasgow took the photographs. They said it was the little girl who forgot to curtsy. And I even had a long chat with her but didn't curtsy, having practiced for days.
Did it just slip your mind?
Obviously, I was so excited about the whole thing, you know.
The Queen Mother has provided special memories for Arthur, Robert and Jean, as well as pictures that are likely to be treasured by them and their families forever. Richard Jones for Meridian Tonight.
Some things you never forget. Well, there's just time for a quick weather forecast from Carl. It's been a nice day today, Carl, but is it going to last?
We'll keep it going for a few more days, Debbie. In fact, it's a perfect day for a perfect person. Today we had plenty of sunshine around, and this weather's going to keep going right into the weekend. If I have a look at the satellite picture and I run the sequence, even that cloud that was down the east coast there drifted away today. There's been beautiful sunshine right the way over the country, just some patchy fair weather cloud. Now, underneath all that, we've got the high pressure. It is still drifting very slowly eastwards, and by noon tomorrow, it's still dominating our weather, so another lovely sunny day to come tomorrow. It will drift then slowly towards the northeast and allow this front to come up, maybe a shower in the southwest, but not until late on Sunday. So into this evening, the patchy cloud dispersing, dry overnight, clear skies, a bit of mist around dawn. Temperatures down to 10, that's 50 degrees Fahrenheit. And then tomorrow morning, in the west of the region, a beautiful start. A little bit of early mist, it'll brighten up, there's plenty of sunshine around, a few patches of cloud by midday. Through the afternoon, a good deal of sun and just some patchy fair weather cloud. Now, over in the east, it is going to be very similar. We will have that mist to start with. The sunshine will come through. And then as we go through the afternoon, we see some patchy cloud here and there, but still with a good deal of sunshine. And it's going to be a warmer day tomorrow. The best temperatures probably reaching about 27. So into the lower 80s. The winds, they're going to be very light indeed, and just a gentle breeze, generally coming from the southeast. Our picture tonight is by Dominique Jenkins, and the summary tonight, dry with dawn mist. Tomorrow, dry with a good deal of sunshine.
Thank you very much, Carl. Well, that's all from Meridian for now, and it's back to the coverage of the Queen Mother's pageant. For now, goodbye.